You was British champ, right? MMA British champ at one point?
MMA British champ at one point, but that was so long ago that there weren't even cages in the UK at that time. So we had to fight in boxing rings, which was a bit weird.
Okay, hello, I'm with my main man, Mr. Matthew Chapman. How are you, Matt?
I'm great, mate. Nice to see you.
Okay, good to see you, Matt. Now, thank you very much for coming along to do the Serious About Success podcast with me. I've known you for some time now, and again, I've watched a bit of your journey, and it's been really good to see, you know, how you've kind of really sort of transformed your business and how you've gone on to, you know, do amazing things online, you know. So, you know, you're doing 7 figures in your business, which is great. So tell us, Matt, how do you go from where you started? So give everybody a bit of an insight in terms of the way you started. How do you go from there to, you know, generating over 7 figures in an online business? You know, give us a bit of an idea.
You do it for a lot of hard work, but started as a martial arts instructor. Been doing martial arts since I was 10 years old, and then went to university, got a degree in sports science, and decided that I didn't want to get a real job, so I was going to continue being a martial arts instructor. Started teaching full-time in Loughton, where I met you, obviously. Ran that for about 19 years and kind of realized as I was getting older and getting beaten up by more and more young people that I needed another way of generating income that wasn't reliant on me being there and teaching all the time. So started looking at setting up something online because I was already buying online courses, online DVDs from other instructors. Tried to do the same myself, set up something. Took a long time, had to learn a lot about tech, had to learn a lot about content creation, about filming, about video, about audio and all of that sort of stuff. Launched my first course, made 0 sales immediately. Took me, in fact, a whole year to make my first sale online. And once I made my first sale, it started to kind of trickle in and grow. And after a long enough period, I made enough money from the online, or the same amount of money from the online as I was making from my martial arts school. So it was like, shall I continue with it? Shall I push it? And I decided to sell my martial arts school and then just do focus online, and it's grown since then. So that's where I'm at.
So you're a martial artist, a big time martial artist. So you don't really want to mess with this guy, right? You know, you was British champ, right? MMA British champ at one point?
MMA British champ at one point, but that was so long ago that there weren't even cages in the UK at that time. So we had to fight in boxing rings, which was a bit weird. So a long, long time ago. They used to call it cage fighting back then. Now it's obviously MMA.
Yeah, okay. So is there a big difference then in terms of, you know, the mindset of becoming like a British champion at MMA, you know, and, you know, creating a successful business? You know, is there similarities in terms of the mindset and who you need to become?
Yeah, I think you need the discipline, obviously, and the consistency of effort, because you're never going to become a great martial artist by being inconsistent. So to become a champion requires the discipline to show up to training, the consistency of training, and probably coaching and support, obviously, to improve your skills. And that applies literally exactly the same to online businesses. So I've helped lots of martial artists create online courses, and the ones that succeed are the ones that are consistent. Like the rest start something. If it doesn't take off in the first 3 months, they're like, you know, I'm done.
That don't work.
It doesn't work.
That don't work.
As you know. So it is about just being consistent and maybe having a bit of patience, and coaching really, really helps because it shortcuts the process. You can learn, you know, you could train to be an MMA champion yourself, I guess, but it's going to take you 15, 20 years of experimentation. Whereas you get a good coach, you can be a champion in 5 to 10 years. So you look at people like Conor McGregor, you know, he went from being on the dole to becoming like the UFC champion in about 5 years, and he's gone on to now be a movie star as well.
Yeah.
But he had a great team behind him and great coaching, and he was consistent, disciplined, motivated, and a really hard worker. And he had lots of talent. So yeah, there's they both relate to each other, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, I'm a keen martial artist myself, and I remember me and you doing a bit of training, and I know you probably won't admit this here, but I was kicking your ass, right? Yeah, I was kicking your ass, yeah.
I don't remember it like that.
All right, listen, don't wait for me outside. Yeah, I'm just joking about that, right? Okay, so in the early days then, when the first 3 months you mentioned that, you created an online course, but you didn't make any sales.
First year.
The first year, you didn't make any sales whatsoever. The whole year.
The whole year, nothing.
So, how come you continued going? What was it about you that decided that you would continue to keep going? Because that's going to take some going, right? Because if you're doing something, you're not getting any results as a result of what it is that you're doing. So then just keep on going. What was that kept you going?
Yeah, we were talking about this before. I think there's something wrong with my brain. Because most rational people would start something, give it a bit of time, couple of months, and then quit it if it's not seeing any results. I think I had examples of other people who had done it. So other martial artists who created online courses and they'd done well. So I was kind of like, well, I don't see why, if they can do it, I shouldn't be able to do it. And I think you got the whole 4 minute mile thing with Roger Bannister. As soon as Roger Bannister did the 4 minute mile, like within 6 months, lots of other people had done it. But at that point, people believed you couldn't beat the 4 minute mile. You couldn't go any faster than that. He did it. People believed, then they did it as well. So you need like a model or someone who's already done it to show you, look, it's possible, you can do it. And I was like, I've seen other martial artists do it. I know that they're successful doing this, so why can't I do it? So I just kept pushing, trying new strategies, working on marketing, going to courses, learning, reading books, pushing. And then I made my first sale of £7.99.
Okay. Now, how did you feel about that?
Well, then that was proof. Someone outside of my circle of influence decided that they were going to buy my course, some guy in America, I think it was. And I was like, wow, okay. So if I can sell one, I can sell 10. If I can sell 10, I can sell 100. If I can sell 100, I can sell 1,000 and onwards. So I just redoubled my efforts, really.
Yeah. So did you ever feel like quitting?
No, I think that's martial arts. I think like you get a certain level of discipline and you get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think a lot of people, when they feel uncomfortable, either physically or emotionally, they quit. But through martial arts, you kind of learn that persistence, that drive, that, you have a goal that you're aiming towards. I didn't really have a goal. I just wanted to sell a couple of courses. Yeah. So I just kept hammering at it. And as soon as that first sale came in, it was like, bing, okay, you can do this. Let's really work on it.
So did you always have an intention to be like, making millions out of selling online courses?
No. I just wanted to create a little bit of revenue on the side, maybe an extra 500 quid a month or something.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Just to help out. And also, as I started to age as a martial artist and get more and more broken, which is normal in martial arts, I wanted just another revenue stream coming in, like an extra bit of money each month, so that I didn't have to work so hard. Because martial arts is great as an instructor when you're 20, 30, beginnings of 40. But when you hit late 40s, early 50s, 60s, it's hard on the body.
Yeah.
And so the problem with martial arts is with a lot of service businesses, you have to show up to earn money. So if you don't show up, you don't earn any money, which is, if you've got stuff going on in your life, if you've got an injury, that means you can't teach. If you get ill, all of these things mean your income's going to suffer. So I wanted something external that didn't require me to show up, but I wanted it something based off my passion, because I could have gone into property, could have gone into investment, right? Other passive revenue streams. But I wanted it based around something that I love to do. And property and investment are not things I love to do. Yeah. So focus on a business. So that's what I did.
So what got you involved in martial arts in the first place?
Bruce Lee films.
Really?
Enter the Dragon. Saw it when I was a teenager. I was like, oh, I've got to do what that guy's doing.
Yeah.
Just looked amazing. So saw that, fell in love with martial arts at that point, and then just started training.
Really, yeah. So that was it. Just literally watching Bruce Lee, and that was it. You thought, look, this is me now. Yeah, I've got to be the next Bruce Lee.
Well, I didn't want to be the next Bruce Lee, but I wanted the skill that he had.
Yeah. I see. So, all right. So, say you watch the martial arts. Yeah, you want to be the next Bruce Lee, right?
No.
I'm sorry. All right, but all right. Just have some skills here, like Bruce Lee, right? All right, but then there's still that transition that you got to go through to get from beginner, because people start martial arts every day of the week, right? However, they don't then become British champ, at a skill. So there's got to be something within you that is something that little bit special in terms of, you're dedicated, you have got, a strong passion, you're committed, you're gonna, you're a trier, you're not going to quit. Where does that come from?
Yeah, no idea.
No? Okay.
Are you born with it? Maybe you're born with it, or I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. I've always had a stubborn streak in me, and I've always, if I wanted something, even when I was a kid, I'd work to get it done. So maybe it's nature or nurture. I'm not sure, but I mean, I think you can work on that and develop it. So I've worked with clients where I've tried to help them get more entrepreneurial or more mindset of achievement mindset, rather than looking at obstacles, like looking at the goal, and so working on that. So I think maybe you're born with a certain percentage of it.
Okay.
And like I've got, say, 20% that type of spirit, and Elon Musk has got 90% of that type of spirit. He will work 16, 18 hours a day and neglect other things in his life just to achieve and hit his goals. I'm not quite the same, but I'm also just not passive and just sat not doing anything. So it's I don't know what the answer is.
Well, you've spoken a little bit about maybe being born with it, so looking back at maybe childhood, influences. Obviously, you shared with me in terms of, we spent a whole car trip, once upon a time going around, where was it, in Wales?
Wales, yeah.
It was in Wales, yeah. We spent quite a lot of hours together, yeah. So you shared quite a bit of information with me in terms of, growing up, what that might have been like, in places like Plymouth, that sort of thing. Is there anything there in terms of where you might have, based on your upbringing, can you sort of associate anything with how you might have been treated by others or anything like that, and how that might have now made you then think, well, look, I will show all of you,
No, I don't have a chip on my shoulder.
No? Interesting.
I don't know. My mum raised me and my sister. She was a single mum. My dad lives in Barbados. They separated. We moved from Barbados back to the UK. And she worked really, really hard. And this might be the thing, she educated herself. So she was very intelligent, but she then went to university, got a degree, then got a master's and got a doctorate. So she's a doctor, all on her own, basically with not much support. So she was quite ambitious and driven and focused on helping us. She worked obviously that the best way to help us as kids is to succeed so that she can provide for us. So maybe that was an influence, but in Plymouth back in those days, it was a bit rough. It was a bit racist. I never thought to show anyone, I'll show you that I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
No, not really. I think so. Probably my mum's influence. And then I wasn't always focused on growing a business. That happened after a friend of mine gave me a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Kiyosaki. Once I'd read that, I was like, oh, wow, this is a different way of looking at the world. So that kind of took me off into a more business-minded sort of state. Before that, I was just into martial arts. So I would train 4 to 6 hours a day. That's all I would do. Didn't have much money, but was really happy because I was just doing what I loved. Read that book. I was like, wow, okay.
I can actually make money out of this. I can actually potentially create a business and become financially free doing this type of thing.
Yeah. So that was that beginning of that.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously you've come a long way, from back in the day, Plymouth, to, where you are now. It's been as you mentioned, that feels like a different lifetime, when you're the British champ. So what does it feel like now then, Matt, in terms of getting to this point in your life where you've got, I mean, you were telling me off camera before, almost passive income, coming in through online businesses. It's a great business model. Yeah. It's a beautiful business model because it's one of those business models where, right here, right now, you'll go back in your car like a little bit later on and you will check your account, see how much money you've made whilst you've been sitting here doing this podcast, right? It's that sort of business.
Yeah.
So how does that feel to have a business like that? That, it's all on you, Matt. It's all you. You've created this, my friend. This is not like something that you've just taken over. You've created this. How does that feel?
Feels amazing. It's great when you're, especially with the semi-passive. I don't think any business is passive. With an online business, you usually create the assets first. So you do the work first and then you get paid for it later, but you still got to do the work. But it's great. Like I can be playing with the kids and I make money. I can be driving my car, you make money. I can be cooking some dinner and make money. The best, I'm going to say this on camera. My missus are going to kill me. I should not say this. But the best one was we were making love.
Yeah, you're getting down.
And then afterwards I checked my phone and I made money making love. So I was like... It's just the way.
I love that.
This is I wish that would happen more often.
Yeah.
So it's weird. You sleep and you wake up and you've made money. And that, especially the sleeping one, I think is the main one. Because it's usually a period of your time where nothing's happening, right? You're recharging. But there's been nights when I've woken up and I've made a couple of grand while I've been asleep.
Yeah.
And when that happens, and it doesn't have to be a couple of grand, it could be 50 quid. But it's like, wow, okay, this type of business is way, way different. So it's amazing. Took a long time, obviously, to get started and to build it. And obviously, I had to learn a lot of stuff, which is how I met you and people like Simon. But when you get it rolling, it kind of just keeps going itself. Like once you've reached that peak and you're moving down the other side of the mountain, momentum picks up and things just happen and it grows and you don't have to put in so much effort. Yeah, it's brilliant.
So what would you say the importance of having people to show you the way, people that they give you some direction, what's the importance, how much importance do you place on stuff like that?
It's essential. Yeah. Like you can do stuff yourself, but it takes so much longer and you make every mistake in the book and you can burn yourself out, and you need guides who have walked the path before you. So I'd obviously launched my online product, zero sales, probably need some help with this. Started reading all the books about online marketing. Yep, okay, that helped a bit, but then I really need to interact with someone and ask questions. So I'm Googling learning about online business, and I found a guy called Simon Colson, who's UK based, and he had a 3-day course on internet marketing. I didn't have enough money, but I slapped it on a credit card, maxed out the credit card, paid the $3,000 or whatever it was.
I bet your wife loved that, yeah?
She didn't know about it. Sorry. And then went on the course, and it was amazing. That 3 days made such a difference because it was intense, and we were working on it 6-8 hours a day. And I learned everything, how to build a website, SEO, email marketing, video marketing, how to promote your products, everything on a 3-day course. Met you guys there, obviously, as well. So I went away from that, fired up, great, and started working on the business. It started improving. So coaching, shortcuts. It's a shortcut to success, really. You can do it yourself, but it's slow, it's painful. The advantage of getting a coach is it just shortens the time it takes and there's less pain involved. So if you're thinking of starting something like this, it would be a good idea to get a coach.
So if you are looking to start, you want to become a successful entrepreneur, I want to be the next, Matt Chapman, for example. I want to do something like what you're doing. What do you see, where do people go wrong? Obviously you coach, martial arts, instructors and everything like that to create an online business or to create more of a business.
Online business.
Which ones do you see that are really strong and why, and which ones do you feel that are not so strong and why?
People who are in it to just make money quit because they find they can't make money immediately, and then they're like, "Oh, well, screw this! I'll try and find another activity that will make me money quick." So you got to be in it for the right reasons, I think. Like, I created online courses because I felt like my journey and my story had value for other people, and even if I hadn't sold any, I'd still probably be creating online courses, YouTube channel, etc., just sharing my journey because it might help someone. So I find the ones that are best, who do best, are the ones that give a damn and have a what I call a worthy why. They have a reason beyond making money to motivate them. And if you've got a stronger reason than just cash, when things get tough or you don't make any sales, you still drive forward. Whereas if you're just in it for the money, it doesn't tend to work. So I've coached clients. I had one client, he's like, I want to create online courses and I want to make $1 million in 3 months. I'm like, it's not happening, dude. There's no way. Now, if you're Jake Paul and you want to create an online course, you'll make $1 million in 3 months because Jake Paul's done the work of building the audience. But this guy had like 0 followers, 0 fans. Like it's just not happening. So that was his goal. I modified his goal, and then he kind of didn't really want to do the work and quit.
Hi, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Don't worry, we've got lots more content left to come. This is just a quick word from me. Now, you will hear us speak a lot about things like mentorship, as well as that, surrounding yourself with the right people. Now, one of the other things, if you really want to achieve the financial success, what makes it helpful is to have things like accountability. This can be the difference between you making it and you not really quite getting there. Now, if you're at the start of your journey, you want to maybe leave your 9-to-5 day job, or you're just in the process of starting up a business, I would like you to come and check out our website, www.seriousaboutsuccess.com. Over the years, we have coached thousands of people all around the world. We speak on BBC Radio as their go-to guy for anything related to mentorship. It's very important for you to have that helping hand along the way. So come and check out our website, sign up for our free training, and we'll show you exactly what it takes for you to succeed. Now back to the podcast.
Okay, so compared to people then that don't then go on to really succeed, I mean, where are their mindset? What do you think?
People who do or don't?
They don't.
They have a mindset that is limited in terms of they don't deal with challenges well. They get frustrated. They take it personally when things don't work out. It's like the universe is conspiring against them. They're not consistent. So they have moments of lots of effort and then they don't do anything for a long period of time. They're in it for the short-term gain, not the long-term journey. So it's a mindset thing. Yeah, definitely. I can kind of meet people and I can tell, all right, yeah, you've got what it takes just by kind of how you present yourself and also the things you say. And then I kind of try and work with people who have a more long-term vision of their business. So
yeah, it's interesting what you're saying about having a good reason why, because I think that's really important, like really, really, really important. I think people, underestimate how important it is to have a really strong reason why. Because those times where things get difficult, and we all have those challenging times in business, right? It is what it is. It's a part of the whole process, However, if you've got a strong reason why, then that is enough reason for you to keep on going. When you go a whole 12 months without making any sales, you've got a strong reason why. So give us a bit of an insight in terms of, well, what's your reason why? What's your strong reason as to why, that you're the entrepreneur that you are today?
Well, for the online courses, it's that I think martial artists are underappreciated, undervalued, and underpaid for the service that they can provide to their communities. Like, martial artists make a big difference and a big impact in people's lives. If they're a good teacher, people who only train with them 2 or 3 years, always remember them. Or when you see them on the street, they're like, thank you for training me. I enjoyed that, So I think we have a really positive influence in people's lives, but martial arts is not particularly well paid. It's not particularly well respected. So I was wanting to create or help martial artists in their business, and also help martial artists create a secondary revenue stream that wasn't dictated by where they lived or having to teach a lot of classes. So I've had lots of instructors, and they get to their 60s, early 70s, and they've got no money, they've got no pension, they've got no savings. They put their heart and soul into helping people in the local community, but they don't have really anything to show for it. And then, they're struggling, and they're still having to teach classes when they're 72 years old. And I don't think it's fair. So I wanted to help martial artists just find a different way to still do what they love, but not necessarily just a physical business, digital business as well. And that's only going to get bigger and bigger with, how the internet's going. And the advantage obviously is, let's say you're in a town that's got 60,000 people. As a martial arts instructor, you could probably only teach, 500, 600 of those 60,000 people at any time, because of some are too young, some are too old, some don't want to do it now, some never want to train martial arts. So you're limited by your geography. But with an online business, you're unlimited. So you can find people around the world. And I've got clients and customers in 100 countries around the world who buy my courses. So it frees you up. It gives you more opportunity. It allows you to share your message with more people, get out there, help people. And your revenue and your income is not dictated by your physical location. It's global. So it's more potential as well. So my why is just to help martial arts instructors who've been struggling, really.
So you've got a real strong passion to help people. That comes across really, really, really clearly. Where does that come from? I'm this guy that I'm just continuously asking reasons why. What? I like to get under. I want to get to know you. In terms of where do these things come from? Because everything comes from somewhere. Because you've got other people out there that are different. So your desire now to really help. You've seen and noticed that there's there's an issue here. People getting to the age of 72, they're still having to coach people because they don't have that income. Why have you got such a strong passion to help your fellow martial artists?
Because they helped me when I was younger. So when I was growing up in the martial arts, I had lots of different instructors, but luckily for me, I've always had really caring, kind, supportive, open-minded instructors who, like one of my instructors, Anton, he trained me for free for 12 years because I couldn't afford the training. He just trained me for free because he felt I had potential. So it's kind of I want to give back, because there's loads of really nice, kind martial arts instructors out there who just want to help people, and they do lots of work which is unpaid or kind of, not rewarded. So my reason is, that's what kind of motivated me. They help me, I want to help them.
Yeah, okay, cool. Love it. And what about challenges in that? Times when you've had challenges, because as we know in business, we're all going to have our challenges and stuff, How do you deal with times where, yes, you might have had the 12 months and initially we didn't make any sales, but I suppose at that point in time it was more of a hobby. Then you become full-time. Now you have got people relying on you. You've got your family relying on you. You've got kids, you've got a wife, you've got, you've got stuff going on, you've got, bills to pay, How do you deal with challenges that come along with any business? How do you deal with stuff like that?
Yeah, it's mindset again, isn't it, really? I've got a mindset that everything can be figured out. So if I encounter problems in my business, which I always do, there's problems every bloody week, but it's a combination of, can I fix this myself, or do I need to get help with it? And if I can fix it myself, fix it. If I need to get help, I'll instantly find the best person or reach out to the best person to help me and get the help to solve the problem. But also, you got to take the long-term view, right? Running and building a business takes time, and there's going to be obstacles, challenges, and things that come up. It's about understanding that if you want to get to the goal, which for me is a certain level of semi-passive income, is the goal for me, that I've got to overcome these challenges. I'm very focused on the goal, less focused on the obstacles and the things on the path. I just will continue. And when you meet an obstacle, it's kind of like, what do? Do you go around it, Do you go through it? Like you can power through it. Sometimes you might need to go under it. Sometimes you might need to go out. So it's understanding that these obstacles are there, and usually you can learn things from obstacles. So it's not like every time I've had a challenge in the business, it's usually taught me something that's useful so that the business grows as a result of it. So it's maybe a bit of a mindset switch of this is not a negative thing. This is actually going to help me. As soon as I've overcome it, it helps me. Then I can grow the business more because of it. But I see a lot of people, like I coach people to build online businesses. They have a minor obstacle, like they're trying to use a bit of software and it doesn't do exactly what they want, right? So then they freak out and then they spend 4 hours trying to figure it out. Then they go, oh, screw this, I'm not doing this. And they stop, and they stop for months. Whereas if I hit the same obstacle, I'm like, can I figure this out? No. Okay, I'll go to YouTube and ask YouTube how to figure this out. No answer. Okay, who do I know that could help me with this? Contact them. They don't know, but they know someone who can help me figure it out. And then it's done in like a day.
Yeah, yeah. So give us an example then of a sort of mat challenge that you might have. You said they come up every single week. Give us an example of maybe a decent sized challenge that you've had to resolve.
So there's two types of online course business, really. There's product, where you sell a product to an individual once, and then you have to sell another product. And then there's subscriptions or memberships, where you sell the product to the person once, but they continue to pay for it until they cancel. Really, if you want stability in your business, you want to have a membership model, but they're hard to sell to people. People prefer to spend like a one-off payment because they know it's done, right? But really, that's not great for the business owner. Really, you want recurring revenue coming in. So constantly, I'm in a battle of, do I promote my individual products or do I promote my memberships? And how do I get more of my people who like the individual products to jump into memberships? Because I want a certain figure coming in per month recurring, because then I know it's there and then my bills are paid and everything's covered. Otherwise, I'm going to have to be marketing and hustling all the time.
Yeah.
And you can burn out your database and your list if you sell to it too much. So that's a challenge I'm currently working on, is like, how do I transition more people from single products to memberships? So
yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that's an interesting one. We can have a chat about that later.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's what I'm all about. I love the reoccurring, in terms of membership type model. I kind of strongly base my business around that, which is cool. So if, say for example, somebody wanted to get set up, you mentioned that you spoke to somebody recently that is like, they want to make £1 million in like 3 months. Like, how do you sort of help set their expectations in terms of what is realistic? What sort of thing what you say to people like that?
I say you're not going to make £1 million in 3 months.
Not unless you've really got the big following, yeah. Not unless you've got a Jake Paul following.
Yeah. Because it is really like an online business is about the audience who are going to buy. It's not so much about you. So it is about having the audience. So I would say to them, okay, £1 million in 3 months. How many Facebook fans have you got? How many followers have you got? How many blog post readers have you got? How many people on your YouTube channel? How many people do you know in your network? And if it's 0.00000, I'm like, well, we're going to have to look at this £1 million in the 3 months type model. Might be more reasonable to make £500 in 3 months, because you have to build the audience. It's all about audience. It's a difficult conversation to have, but I think the problem is there's a lot of stuff on the internet that you can make £1 million through drop shipping and you can do through e-commerce. And yes, you can, but it's not like you can watch a YouTube video and become a drop shipping expert. You're going to have to experiment and get coaching and spend time in it. And it's going to take a few years. But all the clickbaity headlines set expectation too high. So I'm like, no. And I often say to these people, look, you're not going to get it immediately. It's going to take 2 to 3 years really to build a business that's got is solid and stable. It's not going to happen in 3 months. Sorry.
Well, you say that, Matt, right? You say all these clickbait things, right? I tell you something, right? Look, I've got this thing that, look, you know, all you got to do is press this button, yeah, and trust me, yeah. No, I'm only joking. Look, I'm not a big fan of stuff like that, to be honest with you. Those people that have been listening to my podcast for a while, you know, I always talk about stuff like this, that, look, we all want to, you know, achieve the financial heights, you know, say, for example, but the way you get there is by really understanding who we need to become as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And when you understand who you need to become as an entrepreneur, that's when you can then go on to get the results that successful entrepreneurs get, rather than just this quick thing out there that all you got to do is just press this button. Now, the thing is that you might see something out there and, you know, yeah, I mean, look, it might be legit in terms of, yeah, like, you know, if you do this, you know, it will make you money. However, the everyday person's still going to fail because they haven't become the person that can apply those strategies and then go on to become successful. Would you agree with that? Absolutely.
It's all about mindset. It's such an important thing. And people used to say, yeah, mindset. And I'd be like, what? Like, what? It's not important. And I used to believe it wasn't important. But I wasn't aware enough to realize I already had the mindset. So I already had that, like, I can achieve, I can push through, I can learn, I can get help, I can make it happen mindset. A lot of people don't have that. So it's more, they see the negative, they see the obstacles, they see the barriers, they see the stress, they see like everything else. So the mindset is the key. It's just, like, it's hard. I've realized, like, when I speak to my clients, it's really hard to get them to change their mindset because mindset's quite fixed, I think. So I'm battling now with, okay, like, I can give them all the tactics, the tools, the strategies, the software to do it, and instructions on how to grow an online business like mine. And then nothing happens. And I'm like, I'm giving you everything you need. Why is nothing happening? And part of it is they don't have the right mindset. Like, they think it's too much effort, so they're not going to do it. They can only see the obstacles, so that stops them taking action. They have unrealistic expectations, so they never get started. Like, they have all this other stuff that I don't really have. So
have you realized how strong your mind is?
No, well, not until recently.
Okay. So what's made you realize?
Talking to lots of other people, and like, whereas they would see something and see it as an insurmountable problem, I'd be like, well, just do it. Like, get it done. To me, it's just like, take action and you'll figure it out as you go. But other people are more cautious, more risk adverse, they need maybe a step-by-step path. They need to build the courage up to get it. So yeah, I probably arrogantly didn't realize that people don't think the same as me. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah, you mentioned an interesting point there in terms of, look, sometimes people don't always have the courage. And that is a big thing. I mean, people don't realize that, you know, they want to do business, they want to get out there, they want to start making a lot more money and stuff like that. However, the courage to put your neck on the chopping block, you know, put your face all over social media like what you've done. You know, you only have to start following anything in relation to martial arts and you will be seeing Matt, right? You'll be seeing Matt there doing his drills and all the rest of it, okay? So that courage then, that, you know, not everybody just innately has. I mean, you've got that element of courage. Where do these things come from?
Well, if you compare the courage it takes to create an online video and post it on social media versus the courage it takes to get in a cage where someone has spent 3 months trying to work out how to beat your face in, it's not even close. So I'm lucky that maybe I had that fight experience because, look, if you screw up the cage fighting bit, you get knocked unconscious and your face gets rearranged. You get a scar, broken nose, etc. And there's 200 of your friends and family there watching while this is happening, that you're getting beaten up. Versus you post a video on social media and it gets 3 likes and someone says, that's a load of crap. to me, it's not even close. So, but I get for a regular person who hasn't had that kind of fight experience, it seems scary and like, oh, I don't want to put myself out there. Or what if people don't like it? Or what if it doesn't get enough likes? Or what if you get a troll, which does happen online? So I get that to them it's a big deal. And also like the whole school system is more about fitting in and kind of being part of a crowd rather than standing out from the crowd. So a lot of people have been conditioned for a long period of time. One of the advantages I think I've had is I've never had a job. So I've never had like a regular job. So I'm not about fitting in, I'm about standing out. I'm not about just being part of a group. I'm always wanting to do my own thing and do it my own way. I've always been a martial arts instructor. That's all I've ever done. And I've always just worked for myself. So I don't have any external pressures to conform, to be a certain way, to follow the rules, to, you know, and I couldn't now get a job because it would be like, someone's going to tell me what time I can do stuff. Nope. So I think that's another factor, you know, that I've had that type of lifestyle. But I think maybe if you've had more conventional or regular life, you know, you're told to fit in school, you're told what to do, you're told how to behave, and there's rules and restrictions and things controlling you, and the opinion of other people is really important to you because your boss, your co-workers are judging you. So you really don't want to then put something on social media that, you know, gets some negative feedback because you feel like your whole world's crashing down. So this is the problem I'm having working with my clients is they haven't had my journey. They haven't had the way I look at things. They haven't gone through what I've gone through, like the fighting, for example. Because fighting, as the film Fight Club says, like dials down everything else in your life. Once you've fought a few people in a cage in front of your friends and family, like everything else gets dialed down. It's just not stressful. You're like, and you would think, you know, and to compare that, like if you're a soldier and you've gone to war, getting into a cage is dialed down. For them, it's like nothing bad's going to happen. You know, I'm just going to have a fight. It's nothing, you know, no one's going to try and shoot me. So there's levels to this thing. And I think it's hard for me to try and get other people to not overreact, because creating an online business, you do need to be the face of the business and you do need to be out there and you do need to be promoting and have 7 hours worth of binge-worthy content on the internet at all times, so that when the right person finds your content and engages with it, they can do a mega binge of all your content so that they get to know, like, and trust you. Once they know, like, and trust you, they will try a free course or something like that, and then they will buy on the back of it. So that means you have to be putting yourself out there. And for most people, they're still worried about that. Like, and the biggest thing I have with martial artists is they're scared of trolls. Like they put up a video doing their moves, and then some troll says, "That's a load of crap. That's never going to work." So at that point, it's kind of like they stop. They decide, I'm not going to put anything out there, and it's such a shame.
Okay, right. It's interesting what you're saying here about trolls, because I think you've got a heck of a lot of courage, Matt. And look, I know you might say, yeah, but to be able to face the trolls of what, you know, no doubt you've had to face. I mean, we've all had our, you know, the internet can be, you know, a strange place with so much negativity and people hating on you and all the rest of it, you know, just based on people's own insecurities, to be honest with you. But I know that, you know, in the past, you know, you've had to deal with certain elements of, you know, you mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast, you know, racism, you know, once upon a time, you know, when you was growing up, stuff like that. So no doubt you might have been, you know, in the firing line for negative comments and stuff like that. And to then just put yourself back in the firing line. So tell us a little bit about like what was that like for you, you know?
Trolls?
Well, like it's growing up, first of all, say like growing up in terms of putting yourself like, you know, in the place that you grew up, what that sort of element of racism was like for you?
Yeah, there was a fair bit of it.
Yeah, okay.
Because me and my sister were like the only brown kids in an all-white school in Plymouth back in the 80s. So there was a fair bit of it. Like people used to tease and call you names, and then they'd pat you on the back and they'd say, "Don't worry, Matt, it'll be all white in the morning."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez. I know we're laughing. Okay.
So you're kind of like, yeah, thanks. But it didn't really, it's not nice, but it didn't really too negatively affect me. I just moved forward, and just ignore it and just get on with it, and get past it. But yeah, there was a fair bit of that.
Because you could have done, right? Lots of people in that sort of situation, that could then, that could shape them for the rest of their life. And that means that they don't want to put themselves in front of anybody else ever again. Nobody
true.
to be judged. Do you get what I mean? Because the big thing for some, and then now all of a sudden you're putting yourself out there again for the world to judge you. So you're going from, all right, everybody that you might have grown up with might have judged you in a negative way. Well, not everybody, but some people might have judged you in a negative way. And now you're putting yourself out there to the whole world to judge you. And you're like, look, I'll take it on the chin. So I think that's a real sort of honourable thing, So what do you think?
Honourable? No, I wouldn't say it's honourable. I tend to focus on the people who like my stuff, not on the people who don't like my stuff. So if I put out a video, like 90% of people will say nice things about it. Some people will criticise it because it's not how they do it. Fine. And then you get the dicks who say something offensive. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
But not racist. Not racist.
Not racist. No, just like you're crap at martial arts. You should give up. Things like that. Yeah. After 35 years.
And where is that coming from?
But I focus on the people who appreciate what I'm doing. And I don't see, this is a mindset thing again. Like, say you've got 100 comments and 95 of them are positive and 5 are super negative. Why would you focus on the 5? But people do. Like, I've got clients, very, very good martial artists, like world-renowned, respected martial artists. And someone says something shitty on their Facebook post, and they have a meltdown about it. And they're like, well, I'm not putting any more stuff out. Like, these people are attacking me. I'm like, dude, there's 95 people saying you're great, and there's 5 people saying you're not. Why are you focusing on the negative? So I think that's a mindset thing. I always focus on the positive. I don't care really about the negative. I'm moving past it quickly. And the internet is the internet. You can't take it too seriously, can you, really? Because
look, there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there, right? That they will never say anything to your face.
No.
People's not going to, step up to the former British champ in MMA and say, look, you can't fight, what you're saying is shit. So they're never going to say it to you in person. However, it's easy, with an alias, you're never going to know who I am, a picture that's not even me. I've always found that only but highlights people's own insecurity. In terms of if I'm going to find the time to look at something that's somebody out there that is actually just trying to help, no doubt there's going to be, no matter what, there's going to be some people that benefit from what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
But for me then to try and bring you down, what does that say about me?
Yeah, I think it's weird. I would never do it. Like, even if I see stuff that I think it's a bit dodge, I wouldn't comment on it and say, like, you're the worst martial artist I've ever seen. Like, why would you do that? Like, so that's another mindset thing. It's a waste of my time to be spreading negativity. Like, I need to be focusing on what I'm doing and focusing on positivity. And what I've noticed is that you never get negative criticism from people who are more successful than you. You only get usually a hand up. Like, they're not interested in telling you what you're doing wrong. All my seniors in martial arts are not saying, Matt, that's a load of crap. They're saying, here's how you could improve it. So they're trying to help you out. So it's usually a sign of, a weakness or that something's not going well in their life. So they're taking it out on random people on the internet.
Yeah.
But just don't focus on it. Focus on the people who like what you're doing and grow your business and be successful. And, the famous saying that the best revenge is success is correct.
Yeah. So do you find yourself coaching like a lot of mindset with the people that you work with? Like the martial artists, the instructors that you work with? Is that a big part of what you do?
Unfortunately, yes.
Really? Okay.
I don't like it and I'm not good at it. I probably need to have a chat with you.
You should send it my way. What are you talking about, man? Look, we're here serious about success. This is what we do,
Yeah. I'm more good at the tech, the strategy, the marketing, and I'm having to do this mindset stuff. And I feel like oh, wow, okay, how do I figure this stuff out? So it's interesting. And I'm learning about how people work and, you know, psychology of different types of people. But it's something I'd rather not do, because like, if you can't get that bit right, the rest of it won't work.
Yeah. So what would you say? What do you normally say to people that are struggling? To say, I'm a struggling instructor, you know, I'm struggling with my mindset. The thing is, mate, yeah, it's just not going to work, is it, man? No, it's just not going to work, you know? Like, you know, everyone's going to be out there, yeah, they're going to, you know, say really bad things about me, you know? And I'm just not confident, man. I'm just not confident like you. It's all right for you. You know, you've been British champ. It's all right for you. What would you say to me?
Right. If I was honest, I'd say, okay, no worries. You better find something else to do, because I'm not sure I can change you at that point. If you're that negative about it and all you're seeing is obstacles, barriers, problems, I could spend years trying to work on your brain. I don't have any elegant shortcuts to get you to switch your mindset. I mean, you might have some, but I don't. So I would probably say, and this is part of what I do, like there's an interview process if you want to work with me. You can't just work with me. I need to have a chat with you to see where your head is, to see if you got the right mindset, if you're going to achieve, because I could spend years working with you and it could still not work. But if you got the right mindset, like it all unlocks when you got the right mindset, and barriers disappear, problems fade away, and you just move through. So yeah. I'll probably tell you to sling your hook.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Look, I get it. It's not always easy, and you know, it takes time to nurture, because you know, you spend, let's just say somebody's 40 years old, you know, they've spent maybe the last 40 odd years of their life, 30 years of their life, you know, in, you know, a certain paradigm, you know, with certain elements of their mindset being programmed in the way that it is, and now all of a sudden you've then got to come in and try and change that, and it's deep rooted. It's deep rooted. It's like, you know, like their default position, for example,
it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's not going to work, or you know, well, the thing is, or some sort of problem, and we've now got to try and change that default position to the flip side.
Yeah, it's hard.
This is my business, you know. This is what we do. Yeah, this is a huge part of what we do, you know, and it's not always easy.
No,
because you know, again, sometimes it depends on how deep rooted and how much the person really wants to change. If they really want the success, if they really want it, then fine, anything's achievable. But if they're just looking at something online, like what we said earlier on, some clickbait thing, yeah, all you got to do, and now, you know, that's what they're thinking, and that's what they're kind of coming with, that type of attitude, to then, you know, recognize that, hang on a minute, you got to go on this whole journey, you know, of really unwiring, unpicking elements of your own mindset and now rewiring it. It's not easy, and it takes a bit of time, you know, but it can be done, but it takes a bit of time.
Okay, well, I probably need some help with that, because I get frustrated, and it's the wrong attitude, because they don't have the same mindset as me. So it's only in the last year I've really realized, like, mindset is the great key that unlocks everything. And of course, I've got my restrictions and limitations as well. So
what do you think they are? What are your limitations, would you say?
I tend to do the work myself rather than outsource. So like overly controlling. So that's slowing down the business, because if I had other people doing some of the work for me, it could accelerate more. So there's a control thing there, you know. What else are my limits? Yeah, that's the main one at the moment, but I'm sure there's loads more.
Yeah, outsourcing. You know, I get it. And there's elements of my business that I am a control freak over. You know, no one can do sales as good as me, right? You know, so to relinquish things like, you know, pass on things like that, I struggle with, you know. But I suppose, you know, every business you want to grow, take it to another level, there's only always going to be so much stuff that you can do yourselves, right? Yeah,
that's the problem. Like, and especially like if you look at the martial arts industry, it's, you start teaching and you grow your school to a certain size, and then you really run out of your ability to teach classes, or you get too tired, so then you need to get assistant instructors to teach. Yeah. It's the same with my online business. Like, I'm creating content, but I've also got to edit video content, and then
you do all of that yourself.
Most of it, and upload it, and create the resources that go with it, and then market it and share it.
Got a lot of work to do. Yeah.
And it's a lot of work to. No, I wouldn't say it's a lot of work. Okay. Like that would be not accurate. It's work to do. Mm-hmm. I've just taken on someone to help with the video side of it, and it's going really, really well. And he's also doing a lot of social media posting for me. So I'm like, okay, it's good. I think maybe in the past I've been let down by people. So here's a mindset limitation. I've tried to get help from people in the past and it's not worked. So I'm like, well, I'll just do it myself from now on. But that's just a stupid thing to do because then I've limited myself by just doing everything myself. So yeah, I've got issues, you've got issues, we've all got these barriers, but it's becoming aware of them, isn't it? And
that's it right there. That's the key. You know, your self-awareness is massive. And if you're aware of your limitations and, well, if you want to take things to another level, these are the limitations of the barriers that I need to now let down, then that's it, you know, then you're pretty much most of the way there. So the fact that you're self-aware of it, that's...
yeah, but it took ages. Should have become self-aware of it 6 years ago. And then the business would have been much, much bigger. So it's interesting. But I'm enjoying the whole mindset journey. Reading a lot of books on psychology and NLP and transactional analysis and things like that to try and understand what powers people and why do we put barriers in our own way and why do we self-sabotage and things like that. It's interesting.
Well, a lot of the time it does come down to childhood. It comes down to our upbringing, you know. So I'm a big, you know, I feel like I'm like a psychologist in my business nowadays. That's it, because I just talk a lot about psychology, and a lot of it comes down to, you know, what was like for you, your upbringing. That's why some of the questions what I've asked you today is where that determination, that drive, that commitment, where has that, you know, what was it like for you when you was younger? You know, because there no doubt will be somewhere that there's a good, you know, role model, like what you mentioned in terms of with your mum. You know, there's a role model. There's some sort of person that has left an imprint on you that has now led you to who you are as an adult. But that could be positive, but that could also be negative.
Yeah.
So that could be, you know, all right, if everybody around us was lazy, you know, didn't do anything, and not good examples in that way, you know, or, you know, people are terrible with money or whatever, then that could leave another imprint on you.
Yeah.
And you either go two ways. You either go the opposite, you know, it's like, you know what, to hell with this, I'm going to do the opposite because of what I saw, or you just, in majority of cases, you just continue the cycle. You know, you just kind of follow suit. So if you think about, you know, if I was to ask, you know, in terms of like, you know, with your children, you know, you've got a couple of kids, you know, in terms of what imprint you believe that you're leaving on them, because, you know, you're a hardworking guy, you know, you're committed, you do what you do, you've been British champ and all the rest of it, you know. Can you see them having the same sort of, you know, sort of signs of being...
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because you're right, because my kids are quite entrepreneurial. Because I'm quite entrepreneurial, so it's rubbed off on them. And my oldest son is always coming up with ideas for businesses and doing online stuff and setting up websites and doing his thing, because I've been doing my thing. So it's kind of cool. I wonder what negative things I've imprinted on them, though. That's quite interesting to
Well, no doubt they will be some as well.
Yeah. Look. Tell me when they're older, when they're in therapy.
Yeah.
Dad, you used to do this. I'm like, huh?
Well, look, the thing is, you know, all we can do is the best we possibly can, and, you know, obviously I've got my daughter as well, and, you know, she's very entrepreneurial. You know, we're watching Dragon's Den and stuff like that. She's 10 years old, telling me, "Yeah, Daddy, if they did this, and if they did that, yeah, you know." So, so it's wonderful to see, you know. But something I always try and be with her, and I try and be like open and honest and say, look, the areas are where I haven't been very strong, you know. You know, I haven't always seen eye to eye with my little girl's mum, unfortunately. You know, so, you know, where areas where I haven't always been as strong, I'll sit there and I'll say to her, look, Sky, I'm really sorry that, you know, these are blah, 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 because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to not imprint my bad, you know, negative sort of behavior or whatever onto her by being aware and putting it out there in the open and even apologizing for it, you know. But that's just my thing, you know. That's just my thing.
It's good. I mean, the thing is, I think a lot of the learning with kids is unconscious, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
so they see how you react to stuff and really young, and they kind of take it on board as a way of doing things. So Yeah, it's difficult being a parent, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not easy, but I think that, look, just naturally, some of the things of what you're speaking about today, just naturally, you know, I think that your kids will no doubt pick up, and that is just that natural drive, that natural determination, that natural problem solving, that there's always a bigger problem. You know, I always say things like, you know, well, what's the size of the problem? You know, like, let's just say, for example, you know, you can't get your ad approved, well, what's the size of that problem? You know, so we can go into meltdown and be like, oh man, like, you know, this is not going to work, that's not going to work. But what is the size of the problem? Is it bigger than the size that, if we're a size 100 people, like, sorry, I'm a size 100, is that problem more than a size 10?
Yeah.
Well, probably not, really. Do you know what I mean? Is it more than a 5? Well, probably not. You know, is it more than a 2? Well, probably not. You know, so we just got to now just work ways on how to get around that problem. But no doubt, because your kids have seen you do it, you know, because that's what having a business is just constant problem solving. What's the next problem? Let's solve it, you know. So, you know, no doubt, you know.
That's a good way of doing it. I'll nick that for my clients.
Yeah, take it. What's the size of the, if you think of the size, what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the size of 100 size problem? You know, my daughter had surgery last year, you know, it was heart surgery. It was quite a big thing. It was huge. It was huge in my life, you know. Probably the most difficult thing that I've ever dealt with. And what was the size of that problem in my world? That is a size. I mean, she was at the you know, one of the leading hospitals in the world, Great Ormond Street. You know, so, you know, they've done it, you know, thousands of times to surgery of what she needed. You know, however, in my world, that's a size 85 problem. You know, so it's still not 100. Do you get what I mean? You know, like, because she's in good hands, she's in safe hands. But that's a size 85 problem. Yeah. So then that means getting my Facebook ad approved
is a 1.
It's less than a 1. It's got to be a 0.2 size problem, right? If that's how we're going to look at it, but it just comes down to our mindset and how we choose to look at some of the problems that we have, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Luckily, I've got quite a positive mindset, as my mum's very positive and she thinks things can be figured out because she's a scientist. Okay. So problems are fixable. You just got to work it out. So that's probably the lesson that I got from her. And it's the same. So like you say, you can figure out most problems in your life.
Matt, you've been very, very generous with your time with us today. You know, I do very much appreciate it. We're getting to the end of our podcast today. You know, if, say, for example, somebody's watching this and they're like, all right, I love the sound of this guy's business. It's a great business. It's a great business. I love it.
It is a good business.
It's a fantastic business.
Yeah.
You know, you create video content. In fact, let me let you tell it. How would you create a business like yours?
Like how long we got? Yeah. How do I create a business like mine? Like mindset, have the goal and make it attractive and exciting and worthwhile. And then get help on the beginning of the journey, really, because once you get momentum rolling, things seem to happen. You know, it's like pushing a car. If you're pushing a car that is stalled, to get it moving takes a massive amount of energy. But once it's rolling, there's a lot less. You can maybe do it with one hand. So it's the same with a business. Like, to get a business going, you need a lot of effort, a lot of discipline, a lot of help. But once it's ticking over, like my business now, I could leave my business for 2 or 3 months and it's still bringing money consistently. So great, it's moving now. So getting help at the beginning speeds that up, allows you to get to that kind of acceleration point quicker, or that point where you don't need to put so much effort into the business. So I would say, what do they need? That worthy goal, a strong reason why that keeps them motivated, the discipline to stay the course, consistency of effort, support and help in the form of someone who's done it before, but not someone who's like miles and miles ahead. Like, you need someone who's a few steps ahead, because the problem with someone like way ahead of you is they forget what it's like on your part of the journey. But someone who's a few steps ahead of you goes, yeah, I've been there, don't worry, your Facebook ads have been rejected, I'll give you a hand. It's easy to fix. And so it's kind of finding a coach or mentor who's close to where you are, but you can see that they've been successful with it. And just a willingness to learn and put the effort in, and maybe realistic expectations that maybe you're not going to be a millionaire by the weekend and it's Friday. Like maybe it takes a bit longer, and you and enjoying the journey, because the real benefit, as you know, of doing this type of stuff is not the destination. It's not the money per se. It's the skills you learn along the way and the friendships you make that are the most enjoyable part of it. When you look back on it, you go, oh, that was cool. I met these people. I worked with these people. I got help from these people. I learned a whole load of skills I can apply in different areas of my life. That's the real point of his journey.
Okay, love it. So what about practical steps? So to have an online business.
Didn't like my theory.
No. Love it. Love the theory. But say from a practical point of view, in terms of like, I need videos. So this could be for any online business. Obviously, you've got a very successful online business based around martial arts.
Yeah.
Not everybody listening or watching this podcast right now might be a martial artist, British champ, in MMA,
It was a long time ago, by the
way. Let's just say, I don't know, they might be great at gardening. I don't know. I don't know what their topic is.
Yeah.
What would you say? What are the practical steps, that you've got to do to get an online business going, from the very beginning, no matter what your topic is?
Choose your preferred medium first. Is it going to be written? Are you going to create blogs or books? Is it going to be video? Is it going to be a podcast? Is it going to be audio? Like, you got to find your thing that you like. I don't mind standing in front of a camera and being filmed. It doesn't stress me out. But for some people, it stresses them out, and they'd much rather write. So you first of all got to choose which medium do you want to create your content in. That would be step number one. Step number two would be identify your target audience, like who are you going after, who are you creating content for, because once you understand them, then that affects every decision you make for your marketing. Then I would start researching what other products are in the market that are similar to the product you're looking to create, and see if they have a market, how they promote themselves, get some ideas about that. And also sometimes it's a bad sign if there's no products in the market, because there may not be the demand for it. So it's about looking, and competition is often good. Like, this is a thing I have with instructors. They're like, there's already a judo course out there and I want to create a judo course. And I'm like, yes, but the fact that there's 500 judo courses out there means that there's demand for 500 judo courses and people are making sales. So that's actually a good sign. But they often, this is the mindset thing again, they think it's a negative. Oh, I can't do that because someone's already done it. But someone hasn't already done it like you're going to do it, is the point. So it's about looking at that competition is actually, that's great. People are spending money in that market, means I can go into that market and make money as well. So understanding that and doing the competitive research. And then I would say it's about the fastest way to get this working is JVs and partnerships, which is the mistake I made. I decided to do things myself, step by step, and build it up slowly. But the fastest way to do it is to find someone in the market that you want to go into who's already got a list of people or influence over a list of people, and partner with them. So let's say you're creating a judo course or a gardening course or a dance course. Find the players in the market who already have a social media presence of 10, 20,000 people and are creating content that is engaging people, and go to them and research them and find out about them and join their socials and comment on their stuff and get known to them by being in their environment. And then reach out to them and say, I'm thinking of creating an online course that will complement what you're offering, not compete with, complement what you're offering. Can we set up a meeting so I can tell you how I can help you with your business through my online course? And this is the mindset thing again. You're going to do this with one person. They're going to say, absolutely not. And most people quit. Oh,
they don't want it. They don't want it. Yeah, I tried. I tried that.
Yeah. People might, like me and you, will also ask another 50 people and also go back to that person repeatedly over a period of months and years until they go, oh, all right, yes, what can we do together? And so that persistence, that commitment. But once you've partnered with someone, you can then, they will promote your courses to their audience in usually for commission, and you can work out the commission percentage. But what that means is they promote it, say, to an audience of 10,000 people, and you make 200 sales, which is great conversion for that size. You've instantly sold 200 copies of your course. You've instantly got 200 people on your email database now, and you've had a good positive relationship with the JV partner, so that there's more work to be done. So I do this with instructors. Like if I'm teaming up with instructors to build their course and I think their course will resonate with my audience, I'm like, here's how I can help you. I've got a database of 15,000 martial arts instructors. I can promote your course to my database. You will make sales straight away. Literally, as soon as I send the email, 2 minutes later, you're going to make sales. And we're going to do a split on what sales you make. They make sales. They get to grow their email list. I get super passive income, because this is the highest level passive income. Is you get someone else to build the course. You recommend it to your audience. You send one email, which takes you 5 minutes to write, and you make $5,000. That's the highest level of passive income, I think. Because I mean, you can be in your pants eating a pizza, type it out. This is really good. You should check this out. And you send it, and you're both making money. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
So I would say, get all the other stuff sorted first, find the right people in the market, and then reach out to at least 50 people who have an audience that would be willing to promote your product to that audience. Because when you've got 50, you're really only going to get 5 or 10 who say yes, but that's enough to get started. Now, 5 or 10 who get started each make you 200 sales, that's 1,000 sales or more straight away, straight off the bat, without you having to do any marketing or Facebook ads or anything like that. It's so fast to get started. But most people don't do it. They just try and they post on social media, or they run a Facebook ad that doesn't work. So that would be the one mega shortcut you could take to grow an online business, is to JV with people who've already got your audience on their list.
Yeah. This is some golden information that you're sharing with everybody here, So look, you want to create an online business, do some videos and then just basically create a course out of it, and then go to whoever's got your customer, right? Do a joint venture, JV, straight with that person, and that can get you going quick. Very
so quick. Yeah.
So you didn't necessarily do it that way. You built.
I did it the wrong way. Yeah.
Okay.
All of the people I work with now, I'm like, this JV partnership is the fastest way to get things going. Doing it, I was doing one course sale at a time for years, and it's painful and it's slow and it takes ages. In our industry, Russell Brunson's a huge guy, right? Let's imagine you created an online course that would help his members with their marketing or something. If you went to Russell Brunson and he agreed to do a deal with you, and he would email his database of 2 million people or whatever it is, and you only get 1% of 2 million people buying your course, suddenly you've got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Immediately.
That could be instant millionaire, right?
Yeah, because the size of his audience, how responsive they are. So, unfortunately, Russell Brunson's not promoting martial arts courses, although he is a wrestler.
Yeah.
But it's about finding that in your niche. So if your niche is dance, find that group of people. If it's gardening, find that. If it's bonsai, growing bonsais, find them in that niche. But there's always a group of people within an area who have a lot of influence. So all you need to do is find them, build a relationship. You can't just go to them and say, hey, do you want to promote my course? Because it's too much too soon. It's Ryan Dice's analogy of trying to have sex on the first date. Like, you're going to get turned down. So what you need to do is join their socials, interact with their content, get their emails, respond to their emails, buy some of their products. How about that? That's the nice thing to do. Comment on their stuff whenever they put stuff out there. Get on their radar so that who's this guy? He's always showing up and he's saying nice things. Oh, that's cool. And then later on, maybe go to a conference and meet them, and they're like, hey, you're that guy who's always being nice to meet you, brother. And then when it feels appropriate and you've built up enough social capital with the person, propose, but also don't expect them to say yes. And if they say no, don't be like, well, fuck you, I'm out. I'm not helping you anymore. Like, that's not the right attitude, right? And that would take it gradually.
Yeah, cool. Matt, absolutely love it, my friend. Look, thank you so much for sharing all of your words of wisdom with us. You know, this is the former British champion of the world.
Once again, 20 years ago.
Look, 20 years or last year, who cares? You've been there, you've done it. You know, that's more than what I've done. You know, and now you're 7-figure, you know, online marketer, you know, doing what it is that you love. So Matt, loving your spirit, my friend, loving what you're all about. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom. Any last final points you want to share? Anything else at all about anything? And I've got another quick question for you, actually. Okay. Just before we go, this is something that I get quite often, and you might get something very similar. What happens then, Matt, when we're trying to start our business, and, you know, our partner, our significant other, they don't always understand what it is that we're trying to do. Yeah. Like, you know, how do we tackle stuff like that?
Yeah, that's great, because my wife kind of doesn't understand what I do most of the time anyway. She's like, what are you doing? I'm marketing. So I think it's about communicating with them how what you're doing is in the best interests of the family, or, you know, them as well. Because the problem with entrepreneurs is we can be incredibly selfish, focused, determined, you know, people, which can neglect that side of it. So I think it's communicating clearly how it's going to benefit the family in the long run, and then giving them proof that it's working. So when it starts working, you know, what I used to do with my wife is we go away on holiday off some of the money that I would make from the online course, because then it's like they get it. Okay, you're not just in your office in your pants working for no reason for hours and hours and hours. Like, they need to see that it's going to positively impact them. So I think that's a key thing. Luckily, my wife never kind of said you can't do that or you shouldn't do that. She wasn't like that. She just didn't get it, right? But I think some people, you know, relationships is like the partner would be like, oh, don't bother with that. You're wasting your time. Like, you want to spend time with me and the kids, and that's different, because then they're actively trying to stop you doing what you really think you should be doing. That's a tough one. That's one for a mindset coach. That's not one for me. What I would do is like have the conversations on why it's important to you, why it's important for the family, and the potential. Because let's say my missus kicked off 12 years ago when I started mitmaster.com, and said, I want you to stop this because it's taking too much time and too much effort. We wouldn't have got to where we are now. Like, you know, it's paying for our lives and it's doing really, really well. So that is a difficult conversation to have if someone's actively trying to stop you. Maybe you use the times when you're not with the family to do the work. For example, I started Mitmaster when I was just had 2 kids. So, or just had the first kid. So I used to work. I used to get in from teaching martial arts at 10 p.m. I'd wolf down some food, and then I'd work on my business from like 10:30 until 1:30, then feed a baby, and then go to sleep. So you can find these pockets of time. You know, if you really want something, you know, I could have got home and gone, oh, I'm knackered. I'm not going to do the online stuff because I've got to be up at 7:30 or something. But I wanted it, and I could see it was going to work, and I could see the potential. So I found those 3 hours every night to do video editing or to learn from an online course or to write some emails whilst holding a baby with one hand and the bottle and putting the bottle under the chin and trying to one type. Hand, this is taking ages. But I wanted it enough. And it wasn't money. I didn't want the money. I wanted to help. So I think that's key.
Yeah. Excellent, my man. Love it, love it, love it. You mentioned where we can find you.
Yeah, I mean, mitmaster.com if you want to get a load of pad drills. And if you want to learn how to set up an online business, go to teachyourpassiononline.co.uk and you can chat to me there.
Yeah, all right, excellent. But in final, Final comment from me. Like, I've just said it just a minute ago, but I'm going to say it again. This is Matt Chapman, former British MMA champion.
No.
My main man. Look, it don't matter whatever you think. Former British champ, MMA extraordinaire. Also go by the name of Terminator, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. Terminator. You know how we do it. Matt, thank you so much, my man.
No, thanks.
And look, no doubt we might get you on the podcast again. You've been absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much for your time.
Cheers, dude. Nice to be here.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.